Welcome in, everyone, to the Big Game pregame show, Ocali TV's official Oklahoma State football pregame show. I'm your host, Alyssa Brandon, and I'm here joined by my partner, Andrew Dunham. And we're getting you ready for a big game today, just like the show says. Not only is it a matchup between a 5-1 and a 1-5 team, but it's homecoming week, Andy. What has been going on this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think what has happened, especially on the Ocali TV airwaves. But first, before we get into that, I want to say welcome back into the show.
Thank you.
I was in your spot last week, and quarterbacking the show, a lot harder than I thought it would be, and you make it look easy. And,
I appreciate that.
And you had a great package. Of course, Alyssa was covering the OSU Houston game, and you did a great job as well. Had a lot of stuff to film on the field and also in the bleachers. I think we'll get into that later on into the show with Section 231. They were one of the hot commodities of the college football stories, college football world. But yeah, homecoming. It's been definitely a busy week, and we'll of course get into recapping that as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Like, we had a lot of events that were going on, not only on campus, but obviously, like you mentioned, on TV. And I think we have a few clips of what was going on there. It was walk around. It was. There we go. Here we got the orange fountain going there. I mean, I just love to see them dye that every year. It's so unique. And our own Charlie Van Newkirk is on the homecoming court there. Then Jacelyn Rossman, the homecoming queen, of course. And really just, you can see the whole Cowboy community coming together. It's just awesome. And look, there's the pomp there. That was a pretty awesome sight last night. You have fun at the walk around last night?
I did, yeah. We worked the show last night. Of course, our very own Julia Price, Summer Scavona hosted that show for you. Of course, the homecoming parade this morning. But last night was a great sight to see. I'm sure everything went well as far as the production-wise on the show. And our very own Alyssa Brandon, not to brag on her again, but she was very busy last night.
I'm feeling really complimented today. I'm feeling really good.
Well, you should.
I think it's going to be a good game.
It's a monumental week, and you were busy last night with a live shot on the Daily O for the Friday edition, and you also did some live shots for the walk-around show as well. How was that?
Absolutely. It went really well. I mean, I was just so excited to be around everyone and just feel the energy that's coming this week, and I feel it's going to translate into the game. But speaking of the game, we wanted to get in enough of the homecoming talk. We want to get into some real football. So we want to talk the headlines. Of course, the first one there, we can't ignore. We're going to say it again. It's homecoming in Stillwater. Not only is it homecoming, but it's the 104th ever homecoming in Stillwater. So pretty huge thing there. And then second headline there, OSU is in the midst of its worst start since 1995. This 1-5 record has been really tough for the Cowboys. The just starting stretch has been brutal.
Yeah, just hopefully you can muster out 2 wins just to match your win total from last year of 3-9. It's going to be tough. They can try to get one tonight, but like I said, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah.
1995, I wasn't born yet when that.
I know,
when that
and we head coach Bob Simmons in his first year. I don't think many students probably know about that one. But the third headline there was that Sam Jackson, the guy who started for us, wide receiver last game, is going to be making his second start, obviously. So we'll look to see if he can improve a little bit more upon that performance. But now that we've talked a little bit of headlines, we want to get into a little bit of what happened last week in the game versus Houston. But before that, we're going to cut to break.
Thank you for coming to Stay and Play Pet Resort. This is where we can board your pet at any time for your convenience and make them feel at home. We have 5 different kennels for your pet. We have luxury suites that come with TV, camera, fireplace. The webcam is at your free. We have Kitty City where you can board your cat for multiple different prices. Stay and Play Pet Resort offers a free chauffeur service. If you go to Baker Animal Clinic, you can drop your pet off anywhere between 7:30 a.m. and no later than 8 a.m. Stay and Play Pet Resort offers a game day sports package. For $37, you can drop your dog off during the game day as early as 7:30 in the morning. Policy states you do not have to pick up your pet up until 1 hour after the game. At Stay and Play Pet Resort, we thrive to treat your best and give them the best at-home feeling.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
Welcome back into the Big Game pregame show. Alyssa Brandon and Andrew Dunham with you. Now, we wanted to take a moment before we get into Cincinnati's matchup here versus Oklahoma State, just to recap Oklahoma State's performance last weekend versus Houston. It was a 39-17 loss for the Pokes, and it was pretty one-sided the whole way through. OSU was outgained 485 yards to 225. And then we had a lot of different quarterbacks even come in. We had Sam Jackson, obviously the wide receiver starting, who has a little experience there, but not much. And we had quarterback Noah Walters came in, who had a little bit of experience, but was really not even playing football last year. But he had a touchdown drive there. Well, Andy, besides the Noah Walters touchdown drive, what was kind of your big takeaways from this game, OSU's loss versus Houston?
Well, you like the creativity in the beginning. Actually, on the first drive of the game for Oklahoma State, they reach into the bag of tricks for head coach Doug Meacham. And as Dave Hunziker said, good night, Vienna, as it was a 63-yard touchdown from Shamar Rigby to Rodney Fields. And it was just it was a good start. And unfortunately, like some of these games we've seen so far from the Cowboys, that good start just can't be sustained throughout the game. Defense gets worn out. Connor Wegman gets in a rhythm, hits his receivers, and he actually threw for 306 yards in that game, which I'm pretty sure was up there as a season high for him. But just not a lot to take away from this game as far as positivity for Oklahoma State, but you can look at a couple of drives like Noah Walters, who comes in his first real experience with this Oklahoma State team. He actually leads one of the longest drives of the year. I think he led him 75 yards, topped off with a Gavin Freeman touchdown. But like I said, not a lot. There's a few bright spots, but once again, some defensive struggles and some sparks on the offense, but just nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I think really the big thing you mentioned there, it's just interesting to see Noah Walters kind of come in and throw that touchdown and kind of almost outdo Sam Jackson at the end there. I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting to see if a different quarterback situation comes into play, if going with Sam Jackson, that aggressive runner type, also passer quarterback, is going to work. So I wonder if we're going to see that for Cincinnati today. But we're going to get a quick look at what Doug Meacham said after the Houston game right here.
There's some upset guys in there. And my message to them was, get it out of your system, flush it, enjoy your evening, and then wake up. The sun's going to come up the next day, and we're going to get right back to it. We're going to learn how to finish, and we're going to learn that when a few things don't happen your way, it's not time to let the bottom fall out. It's time to keep driving and pushing. And I'm not saying they didn't do that. I think it's kind of collective effort.
Yeah, interesting comments from Meacham there. I mean, it's kind of just been the same thing kind of after every loss. He's kind of had to come up there and say, hey, I just told my guys we're going to do this again. We're going to wake up the next morning and try and put things together. He's just trying to give them a positive attitude. Is there any other positive takeaways or positive things Meacham can say to these players in order to feel like they have the confidence to take on Cincinnati?
Well, I want to say, like, Doug Meacham is learning as well. I mean, we talked about even before we went on air, he's still, I think, trying to learn how to conduct himself in a post and pregame press conference setting. I don't think he's ever had to deal with that before.
Yeah, for sure.
Being in front of reporters and talking, after in games and during practice. He has his Monday press conference now, and that's just something he's going to have to get used to. But as far as any positive takes, I mean, you got players on a roster that can play. And, you know, not to forget Clint Bowen, who's also taken over the defense as well. And it's also important to note that Kevin Johns will be calling plays for Oklahoma State today. He's an experienced quarterback guy. Of course, he was at Oklahoma last year, and now he's on OSU. And we'll see if there's a different taste in the offense. But, I mean, once again, it's just not a lot of positive takes, but, you know, just something that Oklahoma State will have to just keep learning from.
Yeah, for sure. And this is going to be Doug Meacham's first game coaching as the head coach for a homecoming game, which is an interesting fact there. And OSU's kind of had the advantage all time, 58, 39, and 6. Obviously, the situation has been far, far different than from where we are now. But kind of a look at last time OSU played Cincinnati was actually the homecoming game. It was 2 years ago. First time Oklahoma State played Cincinnati in the Big 12 because Cincinnati joined in 2023, and Oklahoma State had their way. I believe that was a pretty big performance for Ollie Gordon there. Do you remember that game, Andy?
That was his coming out party, really.
Yeah, for sure.
That was kind of when the team was at a, you know, it was kind of, they were at a plateau, and it was either are they going to go down, they're going to go up, because they struggled at the beginning of the year losing to South Alabama.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was really kind of when they started hitting their stride, and then the rest was history. But, yeah, and it's kind of important to note also, you know, this program is at two different places. You know, you go back to the game in 2023 against Cincinnati, you know, there's hope, there's optimism. You come back, flash forward to 2025, and it's like, you know,
we're just
I don't really know.
We're in completely different stages. On that stage,
well, note the records as well for both of these teams. I mean, you know.
It's completely flip-flopped on either side, and we were kind of talking about it before the show. I mean, Oklahoma State, there's no sugarcoating it, is in a rebuilding era. And we just have to see where that takes us next. It's not going to be the 2023 season where we were relying on Ollie Gordon and Alan Bowman. We're just kind of getting through the season.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of Cincinnati, we'll take a preview of them and much, much more here on the Big Game pregame show right after this break.
I'm Travis Taylor. I'm the general manager for the Hotel Indigo Tulsa Downtown. I have a real good understanding of the food scene in Tulsa, and I've loved to see the way it's evolved over the years, and I'm glad to be part of it.
My name's Kevin Kyle. I'm the executive chef. I started here, the idea was to do something local. Everything that we try to do has Oklahoma products.
Tulsa is a big oil boom when we were the oil capital in the early 1900s. How Route 66 put Tulsa on the map. And the menu around that was, well, what would an oil worker take out in their lunchbox? That's how Prospect kind of came from.
We never get crazy busy, so we can do a lot of different things with food. And we can do things like wine dinners and have local dinners. We have a private dining room that people can come.
I think being at the heart of the old Route 66 has kind of weighed into us getting a lot of different things brought in from different areas of the United States. When I taste something on our menu for the first time, the first thing I go is, that's Tulsa.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, you know, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
Welcome back into the Big Game pregame show. Alyssa Brandon, Andrew Dunham getting you set for Oklahoma State Cincinnati. Kickoff at 7 p.m. Homecoming for the Cowboys. And talked a little OSU, talked homecoming in the first segment, OSU in the second, and now what we'll do is we'll take our focus to the Cincinnati Bearcats, who, as we mentioned, 5-1. They're one of 3 undefeated teams as of now. Of course, we got games going on right now. We'll talk more Big 12 later on, but some facts for Cincinnati. They're ranked inside the top 25, specifically at number 24 in the most recent AP poll, first time since 2022. As we mentioned, their overall record and their conference record. And Brendan Sorsby ranks top 10 in QBR in all of college football. And Scott Satterfield, who was a quarterback in college as well. Learned that from you. I'm sure he's got to be thrilled with the play of his quarterback. 19 total touchdowns, 1 interception on the year. Seems to be a game manager. But this is an offense, Alyssa, Cincinnati, kind of evenly matched as far as rushing and, passing, but they have a lot of guys who can do a lot of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you mentioned it there. It's just a well-balanced attack, and Coach Scott Satterfield has done a really good job of building those pieces there. I mean, they have a trio of wide receivers that all came from different places over to this team in the offseason, now playing in 2025. And the big guys, some from A&M, some from FCS schools, but they're big contributors there. So I'm excited to see what they got to play.
They're white hot heading into this matchup, winning 5-0 after losing their season opener. We mentioned Scott Satterfield. Here he is with his own preview of the Pokes.
This is a team that, obviously they haven't had the best of year, but it is homecoming. They do have a lot of pride. All the alumni will be coming back. They want to put on a great show for their fans. And they got pride about themselves as well. So we're going to get their best shot. Here comes a ranked team in there for homecoming. I mean, we're going to get everything they got. So, that includes special teams as well, being ready for anything that may happen on special teams, but also offensively, as you mentioned, any kind of trick play or double pass, you have to be aware of all those things.
Stand by. It's interesting perspective by Coach Satterfield on Oklahoma State. And, of course, we're going to get into this matchup later on. But first, we're going to hear from a different perspective from two other people, some familiar faces on the Big Game pregame show. It's Carson and Gabrielle with their keys to the game for Oklahoma State and Cincinnati.
Thank you, Andrew and Alyssa. And we're going to be diving into some wild card scenarios. Always good to be here. Good to be here with you, Carson. And without further ado, I'm just going to hand it off to you. Carson, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I said on 4th and short, do they go for it? I think the obvious answer is yes.
Yep.
I think you've seen a lot of teams go for it on 4th down a little bit more in recent years. I think you got to apply that to your offense a little bit. Coach Meacham, my advice to you would be go for it on 4th and less than 7, especially if you're on the Cincinnati side of the field.
Yeah, you definitely want to go for it if you're Oklahoma State. 4th and 1 all the way to 4th and 200. I don't care. Go for it. If you're Meacham, you have to show that you're aggressive and you're not afraid to go for it. So
Absolutely. Number 2, I said dial up the trickery. Now, what does that mean? It means you have to get Sam Jackson involved as a receiver and as a passer, right? So you put Banks Bowen in at quarterback, maybe flex Sam Jackson around a little bit, use him as a gadget player. I think that's going to be really fun to watch. It could get the crowd involved in this homecoming night game and make things a little bit difficult on that Cincinnati defense.
Yeah, a lot of trickery definitely is exciting. Trick or treat, that's what I like to call that segment right there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely exciting. It's always good to have those trick plays up on your sleeve.
Yeah. And then number 3, I said send the heat. What will the blitz look like? The guy that's running the defense now, it's no longer Todd Grantham. It's now Clint Bowen. We've seen some good things from him in the press conferences about just got to get things right. We've just got to get the fundamentals right. So to me, you have to execute that, and I think once you execute that, then maybe you send the heat, send some exotic pressures, make things hard on Brendan Sorsby and that Cincinnati offense that's been pretty effective this year at running the ball and passing the ball. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the next segment.
Yeah, I mean, you have to also be careful, because as you said, he likes to run the ball. So you have to make sure you have those quarterback spies ready and just don't let him get those free yards rushing, collapse that pocket. So those are pretty good wild card scenarios. Now, I'm going to hit you guys with my wild card scenarios, starting off at number 1, special teams X factor. What does this mean? Specifically for Oklahoma State, if you're offensively struggling and you're defensively struggling as well, it's kind of sad to say, but you have to depend on your special teams, right? And the next factor, that could be Gavin Freeman. By X factor, I mean somebody that could put Oklahoma State in good positions offensively, good yardage, so Oklahoma State doesn't have to force those big plays that they struggle to be using.
Yeah, I absolutely like that idea. Bill Belichick, greatest professional coach of all time at least, struggling in college right now, but greatest professional coach of all time, said special teams is just as important as offense and defense because that can swing a game one way or the other. I think you're absolutely right. Special teams can be an X factor in this game. I hope we see a block kick or a block punt because that'll get that homecoming crowd excited as well.
Definitely. And at number 2, dual threat duo. Both quarterbacks, could they be breaking over 50 yards on the run? We already talked about how Sorsby can be effective running the ball. But Sam Jackson, I would love to see them using Sam Jackson in more of those wild card formations. You know, on the improvised run, I would like to see him breaking on the run while on those passing plays. You know, it can be crucial against that Cincinnati defense.
Yeah, I love the idea of running the quarterback. Sam Jackson, that's kind of what he's built for. You know, maybe throwing the ball a little bit less, running the ball a little bit more. Maybe let's do some option stuff, right? I love the idea of the option, especially with a team like Oklahoma State that's got a mobile quarterback and a stable of running backs that are really talented as well. We've known that since the beginning of the season. Maybe throw some option stuff in there to help out with your dual threat quarterback.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you talked about being homecoming earlier, and momentum is a big thing on homecoming. I mean, do you think there can be some momentum swings around this game? I mean, there's going to be alumni, former players, the stadium's going to be packed. I think it's pretty crucial and for Oklahoma State to take advantage of that momentum and that crowd.
Absolutely. I love the idea of, if you're Oklahoma State, you get in early. We've had some games this year where they got down early and didn't rebound. You have to rebound. You have to counter the momentum that Cincinnati will inevitably bring, because they like to start fast, started really fast against Iowa State in that big game that they had. So I really want to see how Oklahoma State responds to what Cincinnati does going forward in this game.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Carson. It's always great to be here. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, thanks, Gabe and Carson. Some really good takes there. Coming up, we wanted to get a little bit of perspectives from outside alumni, people that have really made an impact on Oklahoma State and are making an impact in just the world right now. So we will get to Addison's interview with a very special guest that lives over in Nashville, kind of popular guy over there, but we'll get to that after the break.
My wife lived east of here, about 35, 40 miles, something like that, over at Lamont. I was dating her from over at Alba when we were going to college. I knew about the well then. It was a great well. It was great water. I'd stop there, stick my head under it, wake up, drive on home, that kind of thing. And people talked about bottling this water. And so that's why I started thinking about doing that. And so in 2003, the property come up for sale. And so we started working on that, had the opportunity to buy it. The hopes are when folks drink our water is that they'll drink it for a few days and find out the difference. They'll start feeling better because there's been no chemical in our water. There's a list of good things that we have. We don't have any bad things in it. This company means a lot to me because I guess we started it from scratch. And to be able to have it where it's at today, I don't see this as the end at all. I see the future of Divine Water as being worldwide, which will bring outside dollars into the state. It means a lot to me because I started it, I guess, and our family started it.
My name's Dennis Abernathy. Lived here since 1968, and I consider myself one of Stillwater's oldest original family jewelers. Here at Dennis the Jeweler, we're more about personal service. My father always told me that anybody can sell the jewelry, and what we're doing is completely different, learning to do the repair work. That is one thing that will keep your business alive, because anybody can sell it, but not anybody can fix it. To me, jewelry is very, very personal. Every piece of jewelry has its own story, and I get to hear hundreds of stories from my clients, which I love to hear. There's always a story with it. I mean, you buy a piece of jewelry for a show of appreciation, a sign of love. There are a lot of different aspects for jewelry when you purchase it.
Well, Oklahoma State University has some pretty famous alumni, but one that you may not know is actually recently engaged to one of the biggest country stars, Reba McEntire. Here's Addison McBride's interview with Rex Lynn.
Today, I'm joined by actor and OSU alum Rex Lynn. You may know him for his work in Young Sheldon, CSI Miami, and most recently, Happy's Place. Rex, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Addison. I'm pumped up to be on your show.
We really appreciate you taking the time. I know you've been busy in LA filming. What can you tell us about these new projects you've been working on?
Well, it's called Happy's Place. We are doing great. We got great reviews and great ratings. And we started last year, 18 episodes. It stars Reba McEntire with a great cast. Lisa Escobedo is in there, and Pablo Castelblanco, and Melissa Peterman, and Takala Black Elk. We got a great cast. It's been so much fun, and we're right now in the middle of our second season. It's on NBC, and the next day will also airs on Peacock. But our first episode airs this November 7th. So if anybody's around the television, November 7th on a Friday night is our season premiere, season 2 of Happy's Place. And it's been a lot of fun.
The show's hilarious. I will definitely be there in November to watch that first episode. Also, if you guys ever need an extra, I am your girl. Call me.
I'm telling you, if you want to be on it, you can. I'll get you on there. And here's the other thing. The other thing I wanted to say was we have some pretty big, powerful guest stars coming on pretty soon.
Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to see those.
It'll be fun.
Oh.
And if you ever want to come by and see the show, you're always welcome. I'll get you to come on. And then if you come see the show, maybe we just stick you in the tavern.
There you go. Hey, I will definitely be taking you up on that. So.
Okay. All right. That's a deal.
Perfect. Looking from where you're at now, recording second season for a huge network show. When you reflect back to your time as a college student, how do you think your time in Stillwater helped shape your career and you as a person?
Really, I know it sounds corny, but it taught me about structure and discipline. I think that carried on over to my life. When I graduated from Oklahoma State, I went right into, I don't even know why I did this. I was in broadcast journalism. I always wanted to be an actor all of my life, but I went into banking because there wasn't a whole lot of acting in Oklahoma City. I left Stillwater, went back to Oklahoma City where I went to high school. And I just stayed there, and I didn't know what to do at first. And I had an opportunity to take a job at a bank, and I did that for several years. I'm glad I did that. But I took a lot. One of the things I took away from Oklahoma State, and I have lifelong friends. I have a lot of Oklahoma State Cowboy friends that I keep in contact with constantly. Structure and discipline mainly is what I've taken into my career, and Oklahoma State taught me a lot of that.
You talked about going into banking out of college, which is interesting. I feel like the field of broadcasting, NMMJ, even acting is so unpredictable. Is there any advice you'd give to students looking to go into that field?
I do have advice. It is, if you want to do it, don't let anybody or anything discourage you from pursuing your dream, whether you want to be a doctor or an actor, a lawyer, a plumber, whatever you want to be, bull rider, whatever, just follow your dream. It really is all about perseverance. I don't care what you do. I did a movie early in my career, 1989, before I moved to California. I did a movie with Roy Scheider. You probably don't, you're a little young, but for that. But Roy Scheider was the head sheriff in Jaws. I did a movie with him, and I said, I'm getting ready to move to California in 3 months. Can you give me any advice? And I had already asking for an autographed picture. So he goes, yeah, I can give you a little advice. So he wrote something on this 8x10, and then he put it in an envelope, and he handed it to me. We filmed the movie down in Galveston, Texas. He handed me the envelope, and he said, do me a favor. I don't know if I'll ever see you again, Rex, but hopefully I will. But if I don't open that envelope until you get to California. And he said, you have to give me your word. I said, okay. So 3 months later, I packed all my stuff in a U-Haul from Oklahoma City. Didn't know anybody out here. Got on I-40 West and headed out. And I took that envelope with me. My goal was to get to Winslow, Arizona, because I'm an Eagles freak, the band, the Eagles. And so standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona, so I wanted to stand on that corner from their famous song, Take It Easy. I made it there, and I got to a little motel, and I opened up that envelope. And it said, great working with you. Here's my advice. It will be your best friend. And I remember him getting a black magic marker, and he covered his up like that, and he was writing kind of long, and then he put it on. It said perseverance. And he said, at the bottom of that 8x10 is my advice, and it'll be your best friend. if you stick with it. And that's the advice I have anybody coming out of college, whatever you want to do. Get rid of all the noise of, oh, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or that's risky, or blah, 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 and all that. And then once you decide and pull the trigger on it, perseverance, baby. All the way, just keep at it. Keep moving forward. Just have to persevere. Just keep going.
Did you always want to be an actor?
Always.
In your college? Always. You always
It's
did.
funny. It's funny too because I grew up in a little bitty town. I always think nobody knows or ever heard of Spearman, Texas, but it's a little town north of Amarillo in the Panhandle, population 2,700, and most people think that my influences in acting were like John Wayne and westerns. And while I love westerns, I love them, and I've been in a bunch, and I love John Wayne. But my influences were the monsters. And ironically, I'm working at Universal Studios right now. So the first time I got to see the original Wolfman, the original Frankenstein, the original Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Dracula original series, it freaked me out because I talked to my parents and I said, you know, there's a full moon. I heard there's a full moon. There's a Wolfman's going to come out. You know, when I was little, and they said, well, you know, there's not a Wolfman, and they let me see the original Wolfman. And I said, no, there is. When the moon's full, the Wolfman comes out. And they go, well, and I think I was 7 or 8. They say, that's not a Wolfman. That is an actor, and he puts a mask on, and he gets paid to do that, his job. So he goes out there, and they film him growling and all that, and then he goes home and fixes macaroni and cheese. And that's like,
just a guy.
And I thought, as much as you could think at that age, I thought, well, that is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. I wanted to be a college football player, an actor, or a veterinarian. Those were the
All
three.
good options.
So, yeah. So it's so far, knock on wood, so far it's worked out. It's going pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's going pretty well. Those are some good memories. Bringing it back to homecoming, do you have any predictions for that game?
First of all, now I follow college football a lot, and I know about the Cincinnati Bearcats somewhat. This is going to be, I know people are going to laugh at me. This is going to be the game. It's not, Oklahoma State really at this point can't turn their season around as far as making a Big 12 championship, making playoffs at this point. And even though they're going to be probably 5-1 coming in, they got a great quarterback. They got a pretty good defense. They only lost to Nebraska, I think, by 3 points. They're going to be a hot team coming into Stillwater, and I think this is going to be our big upset of the year. I think Oklahoma State, and I'm predicting Oklahoma State wins this game by 3 points, by a field goal. And that's my prediction. I know there's a lot of people that will listen to this and go, you are high or something, because that ain't happening.
Hey, no, I like how you're thinking. Perseverance. I think the Cowboys are going to take the win as well, and I think it'd be a really exciting game by 3. So I'm with you.
I'm saying it's going to happen. And remember this, Addison, you can call me and just go, my God, Rex, you're a genius.
Hey, I will. And I think the rest of Cowboy Nation will be too. So that's just what I'm saying.
I hope so.
Well, Rex, that's all I have for you. Is there anything else you'd like to address Cowboy Nation on before I let you go? I know you're busy.
I do. Well, will you do me a big favor?
Yes.
Okay. You give me your word?
Yes. Promise.
Will you please go down and eat a coney for me?
Okay, Rex, you have my word. I can do
It's
that.
one of my favorite foods in the world. And I
In
mean
the
that.
world. In
Yes.
Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Coney Island, can't beat it.
I will be sure to do that and let you know. Rex, thank you so much for joining us on behalf of the Big Game and myself. We really appreciate it. It means a lot for you taking time out of your schedule. And thank you so much.
I love what you're doing too. Keep at it. And remember, perseverance.
Perseverance. Thank you so much, Rex.
Okay, see you later.
Bye.
Go Pokes!
Go Pokes indeed. That was really one of the more unique interviews you'll see here on the Big Game pregame show. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, a new segment by yours truly right after this on the Big Game pregame show.
Deep Fork Foods started in 2014. We started off with our nut products, and now we produce everything from jarred products to cookie mixes and pancake mixes and dried products for people, as well as our spice blends. Now we produce over 168 different products for ourselves and about 20 to 30 other companies in Oklahoma.
I'm Cindy Stewart. I'm one of the owners of Deep Fork Foods. We've gone from just making our own stuff and doing just small things to being able to co-pack and work with other companies and individuals within Oklahoma and across the United States as well.
I'm just really thankful for the journey that we've had so far and really look forward to the future where we're taking Deep Fork Foods and being able to provide more value for Oklahoma and its economy, as well as all the people within the state.
I love the opportunities that being in a food business provides. I absolutely love sharing food and good stories with people, so this just gives us another connection. And I can't wait to see where this path takes us with it.
We would design something, it was set on the counter, and people was either, if enough of them said, you know, this isn't it never made to the line. Dad was excited that they're all original. They were all designed on Mom's kitchen table, and it gets in your blood after a while.
We're very happy that Pamela and Michael have taken over the business and kept the family going.
We took the business over in 2017. When we found that it was available, we wanted to keep the legacy of family alive, but it was also incredible products that deserved to be a part of Made in Oklahoma's story. We were a part of Made in Oklahoma years ago, and so it kind of grew as Made in Oklahoma grew.
Oklahoma is ingrained into everything that we did. We've been here most of our life. That's what we entailed our whole business on, was the Oklahoma homegrown feeling.
Welcome back into the Big Game pregame show. Andrew Dunham, Melissa Brandon getting you set for kickoff at 7 p.m. Oklahoma State and Cincinnati. Homecoming in Stillwater, America's greatest, and don't you forget it. And speaking of homecoming, Alyssa, we were busy. It feels like today has lasted 3 days, and the last 3 days have lasted 3 months. So, kind of what's been the highlight of your week so far?
Honestly, the highlight was probably the live walk around. I mean, I got to have some interesting food, got to see some interesting people, and it was just overall just a really good time.
That's great. Well, speaking of live, we have a live shot. It wouldn't be a Big Game pregame show without our very own Addison McBride out on the tailgate scene. Addison, what is it looking like out there?
Where there's plenty of activity happening at the tailgates, and Audie, it's almost time we've been waiting for all week long. Almost time for kickoff against the Cincinnati Bearcats for America's greatest homecoming. And what a week it's been, Audie. What's your favorite thing?
Oh my goodness, I will say, Addison, my absolute favorite thing had to have been to see a porch parade this morning, where, if you don't know, we were able to have the honor to help co-host the second segment. It was truly just such a blast. Despite the rain, rain or shine, you can really just tell the cowboy spirit comes out no matter what, staying loyal and true. What would you say is your favorite part, Addison?
Absolutely, I'd have to agree. Despite the storm, the fans showed up and showed out. We got there at 6 o'clock to set up this morning, Audie. There was already fans out setting up their tailgates, okay? Yes. They were barbecuing and getting ready for the game, and it doesn't get any much better than that. And don't go anywhere, because when we come back from this break, Alyssa and Andrew have it back in the studio with your game recap.
They're going to break. Never mind.
Ace in the Bowl salsa started many, many years ago. I was trying to find a recipe to take to a family gathering, and so I started messing around with different recipes, and I took a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I came up with a salsa that is truly unique. Ace in the Bowl salsa is an olive oil-based salsa with tomatoes, green chilies, green onions, and black olives. There's no sugar added, it's gluten-free, low-calorie, low-carb, low-fat, low sodium. So it's a very, very, very good alternative to any snack you may want. As of right now, I'm just looking to be in Oklahoma and having a successful business within the state. If my grandkids could ever take it over when they're old enough, that would be my dream.
Got a computer issue?
Meet AB Computers, Stillwater's trusted experts in computer repairs. We understand how important your devices are to you. That's why we offer fast turnaround times, so you're never disconnected for long.
Hello, my name is Roger Smith. I'm the owner of AB Computers here in Stillwater. I offer excellent services for repairs, upgrades, custom build of systems. I do Mac and PC repair. I've got best prices on pretty much everything you can look for.
We service all types of computers, from PCs and gaming rigs to tablets and everything in between. Whatever your tech needs, AB Computers is your one-stop solution. Whether it's a locked screen, a sluggish system, or any other tech trouble, AB Computers has you covered. Visit us at 211 North Perkins Road, Suite number 10, right next to Walmart. Our new location offers easy access and plenty of parking, making it more convenient than ever to get the expert help you need.
Just under 20 minutes until kickoff here in Stillwater for Oklahoma State and Cincinnati. Andrew Dunham, Melissa Brandon getting you set. And I mentioned out of the break that we have a brand new segment for you, and it is Andrew's A-List.
Yes.
What is this, Alyssa?
Well, Andrew's A-List, we've talked about it a lot kind of in pre-production that we wanted to get some betting lines involved, and like we were kind of saying before the show, sports betting it's overtaking the world, isn't it, Andy?
Well, I know that you know ball along with Connor Fuchsa and Mason Belle Isle. I want to
plug there.
prove that I know ball. Of course, that's your show on
right.
the Ocala Universe, but I want to prove that I know ball. I'm going to give you 3 picks that I think have a great chance of hitting in this game specifically. Starting off with Cincinnati, Brendan Sorsby under 1 interception, so under half an interception. He's a game manager, but he also takes care of the football. He's under on this line. He has not thrown an interception this year, and he takes care of the ball. Like we said, 19 total touchdowns, 1 turnover. That's my Cincinnati player prop. And for Oklahoma State, Rodney Fields over 40 rushing yards. He's cleared this line 3 of his last 4. Hopefully we'll see an increase in production for Rodney Fields Jr. And also the final pick, the point spread, unfortunately, 21.5 in favor of Cincinnati. Oklahoma State, unfortunately, is one of the worst teams to bet on, Chris, if you're betting on the underdog.
Right.
But, 21.5, if you got that line at 21.5, that's great because I believe it's up to 23.5 now, so it's jumped over the past couple days. But yeah,
you were just being generous to our folks.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't want to count them out too much.
Yeah, and if I go 0 for 3, that is the first and last ever edition of Andrew's A-List, and it'll be Andrew's F-List. As
well,
Alyssa
yes. We talked about that a little bit, but I'm taking your advice because I don't know if y'all know this, but as much as I love sports, I love football, eat, sleep, and breathe it, I stay away from the betting game because my boyfriend does enough of that for everyone, so I don't need to touch that at all. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to, I'll play devil's advocate a little bit for you on your first pick there. Brendan Sorsby under an interception. I'm going to kind of take OSU's side here now. The Oklahoma State Cowboys only have 3 interceptions on the entire year, but last game, cornerback LaDainian Fields, he's a guy that's kind of been making moves, kind of gotten to move up in that roster now with so many guys either being in the portal, being hurt. The cornerbacks, safeties, defensive backs as a whole are just really depleted, but he's a guy that's gotten his hands on the ball just a little bit more each game by game. He had an interception versus Arizona in that away game. And then another guy I'd looked at is safety Landon Cleveland on the Oklahoma State football side. He's been making plays as well and kind of just been making his name known in Houston. He had quite a few pass breakups there, and another guy that got his hands on the ball, but they're just not quite there yet. They're so close. They're young guys, but maybe they can pick off Brendan Sorsby today. So I might go against you on that one.
Maybe now that I mentioned it, it will happen. And of course, you get the old announcers jinx. Well, you get the pregame show host jinx as well. But and it's interesting because you were doing the show for Houston, but we actually ran a transfer portal graphic, and there was probably about 8 or 9 guys on the list. There was been a few more. Notably, Josh Ford was on that list, and a couple of defensive guys. But if you look at that list, and we don't have it, but if you remember last week, a lot of those guys, portal entries, were defensive guys.
Yeah.
And Clint Bowen has emphasized that he has had to teach his defense fundamentals with tackling and, as far as little bits and pieces in coverage. And, I just think with the depth of the Cincinnati receiving room and Sorsby being a veteran guy, I think it probably could be a little dangerous for Oklahoma State as far as their secondary is concerned. But, I could be wrong. I mean, it's just making a prediction, going out on my limb, of course.
Right.
you know.
We go out on limbs here. We make A list, we make F list, we do all the things.
There's that transfer portal graphic, by the way. Thank you, producer Jared.
Yeah, great work by our producing team up there. There's a transfer portal, and as you can see, I see safety, cornerback, safety, 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 and we had another guy I think got injured, Jalen Davies, at the last game there. So.
And then I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
most recently Noah McKinney as
yes,
well on the offensive line.
Yeah,
which,
that's a huge blow.
He's still going to be with the team, but he won't officially put his name in the portal, I guess, until after the season.
Yeah, speaking of injuries too, Zane Flores, if anyone was wondering, is still not going to start this game. He will still be sidelined. Haas Haney as well, still on the sideline. We mentioned it already. It's going to be Sam Jackson taking snaps, and hopefully we see a little bit more of that, a little bit more wildcat, maybe some more trick plays. I think that's really the only way Oklahoma State has an advantage with them here. So, yeah.
Sam Jackson making his 5th career start at quarterback, and what we noticed, or what I at least noticed, is there's a lot of improvising with Sam's game because, he is an athlete at the end of the day, and as Coach Meacham mentioned in his press conference 2 weeks ago, a lot of what he does is improvising just because of the way he plays. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will hit the tailgate scene again with Addison McBride and Audie Martin here on the Big Game pregame show.
Thank you for coming to Stay and Play Pet Resort. This is where we can board your pet at any time for your convenience and make them feel at home. We have 5 different kennels for your pet. We have luxury suites that come with TV, camera, fireplace. The webcam is at your free. We have Kitty City where you can board your cat for multiple different prices. Stay and Play Pet Resort offers a free chauffeur service. If you go to Baker Animal Clinic, you can drop your pet off anywhere between 7:30 a.m. and no later than 8 a.m. Stay and Play Pet Resort offers a game day sports package. For $37, you can drop your dog off during the game day as early as 7:30 in the morning. Policy states you do not have to pick up your pet up until 1 hour after the game. At Stay and Play Pet Resort, we thrive to treat your best and give them the best at-home feeling.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
Welcome back to the Big Game pregame show. I'm Alyssa Brandon here with Andrew Dunham. Now we're getting close to the end of the show, but as we do every week, we have a little bit of an interview from another outsider perspective. We already have Rex Lynn there, but these are the VIPs of this last game versus Houston. I don't know if you've ever heard of Section 2 No Shirty 1. We got the guys who started it. Here's our interview with those two men.
Was her audio okay?
okay? It should have not have been.
Well, we are back with another interview segment on the Big Game pregame show. I'm Alyssa Brandon with Andrew Dunham, and this week we have a very special guest, the VIPs of Section 231. Thank you, Luke and Trent, so much for being with us. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to be here.
Yeah,
One of the most famous faces of Oklahoma State football this year. I think you guys are one of the bright spot. I mean, I would say one of the few, but right now I think you are the bright spot of the season so far, as we are 6 games into the season now.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
I'll take it.
Well, first off, guys, Trent, walk me through first. I know this came from a bet. Can you kind of walk us through the details of how that occurred?
Yeah, went to the game with my sister. We made it through the first half. After the first half, we came back out from underneath the concourse with my son and his girlfriend. We were over in Section 1, and they were sitting with us. And with about 10 minutes left in the third quarter, I made a comment to my sister. There's about 4 empty sections over there. And then a few seconds later, she said, I'll give you $10 if you go over there and take off your shirt. And I said, okay, and started to make my way over there.
So, Trent, I got to know, what was your expectation when you said, okay, I'll do it. I'll go there, take my shirt off, start waving it around. Did you think you were going to be joined by the crowd that was there? Or did you think you'd get like a loyal member like Luke over here who joined you and it was just going to be you two? Or kind of walk me through what you were expecting there.
When I was walking over there, I was committed to myself. I would do it for 3, 4, 5 minutes. And honestly, I expected maybe 1 or 2 people to come, one of us to get tired, to leave. So I did not expect people to actually come over there and stay. I thought they'd come over, do it for a few minutes, realize that, okay, nobody's joining us. I'm going to go back to my seat now. So I thought maybe 5, 6 people would be there, maybe max at a time, and then they'd leave and go back and enjoy the game themselves.
Well, Luke, from your perspective, I know you didn't, I don't think a bet was involved in yours, or maybe it was. What got you up there to that section?
Yeah, so I was just there watching the game like everyone else. I was on the kind of the lower sections in the student section, and I was sitting there with my friends, and they were like, "Hey, look at that guy up there. He doesn't have a shirt on. You should go join him." So I was like, "I don't know." And then they were like, "Come on, go." And so I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go." So I ran up there. I said to him, "You mind if I join you?" He said, "Sure." So I took my shirt off and we started waving it. And something that I don't think he gets credit for is it gets tiring waving your hand like that for that long. And my arm was about gassed and he was still going a lot faster than I was. So when I first went up there, it was just us. And then it seemed like the next thing you know, there was just like tons of us. It was honestly crazy.
What was the kind of post reaction from everything as far as seeing your work out on the internet and out everywhere, really?
For my reaction was, my sister she posted some stuff on her Instagram story or TikTok story or whatever it was, because I didn't do the social media before this, and she was like, "Oh, all these people want to find out who you are, talk to you, blah blah, whatever." And I was like, "Okay, if you handle all their requests and validate that they're actual, legitimate people, then I'll do it." But yeah, it's pretty crazy, especially with Barstool or whoever commenting. It just made me think I need to get to the gym more, but that's all right.
I was surprised to see just how many people, like I grew up watching ESPN, Sports Center. I follow Barstool, a lot of the Old Row stuff, and the O'Colly, Channel 5, all that stuff. So it's interesting, a little bit shocking to see myself shirtless. I wasn't planning to be shirtless in front of that many people, but
yeah, you didn't tell your mom about that one before that happened?
No, maybe not.
Well, then last question, guys, and either of you can kind of take this. What do you kind of think this just whole situation says about Oklahoma State's mantra, loyal and true? What's the correlation there?
I'll let the student go first.
So just like you said, loyal and true, that's kind of something Oklahoma State preaches. And I think this was a good example of that. Things weren't quite going our way in the game, but it didn't matter. There's a TED Talk out there called How to Start a Movement. It only takes a couple people. So you can change, the mood of the game. And Trent definitely did that last Saturday. So
I'd have to agree, whether it's one person or two or turned into whatever it was, if it gave some people a little bit of enjoyment, a little bit of laughter, or gave my sister or Luke's parents or whoever, or Luke's friends, a little bit of laughter, then it made their day better. And then hopefully the players or the coaches saw some people out there just having a good time. And even if things weren't going well for them, they brightened their day just a little bit. And ultimately, you know, most of these people you're never going to see again, at least in my case. I don't know about Luke's case being a student, but, you know, have fun with it.
Absolutely. Well, you guys had great comments from Coach Meacham post game, and some players as well. A plethora of players hit the social media and just recognized you guys for putting a spark in the team late in that game, even though it looked like, you know, the game was decided. You guys definitely put a spark in the team, so that's awesome. And the ESPN Student Section of the Week as well. So congratulations to you guys as well.
Yes, congrats.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You're putting us back on the map for sure. Well, we thank you guys so much for joining us, and honestly, I'm honored to get to talk to y'all, and I'm honestly inspired to start my own movement. So thank you guys.
Thank you,
Thank you
Alyssa.
for having
Thank you,
us.
Andrew.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Big Game Pregame Show. That was a great interview we had there with me and Andy. Now, we wanted to get to the main event. Obviously, every week we like to make our picks. And for this game, Andy, we've already said it, the 5-1 Cincinnati Bearcats, 1-5 Oklahoma State Cowboys. Who are you picking and why?
Yeah, I'll go with Cincinnati. I think it's going to be kind of a slower paced game. Both teams will kind of feel each other out, but in the end, I think it's going to be Cincinnati who's going to get some momentum. They're going to use a lot of that, versatility on their offense. And I got 42-20. And if you paid attention to Andrew's A-list, they're also going to cover the spread just by a tick.
Right. Y'all take those picks, by the way.
Yeah. Or don't.
Or don't. Well, for my pick, I'm going to go 35-13. I'm also going to go with Cincinnati here. I mean, they're a great team. We already talked about it. Just a well-balanced attack on all sides there. On the offense, they've got 3 receivers that can really get out wide, and Brendan Sorsby can hit them down there. And I see Oklahoma State maybe sneaking in a few touchdowns just because of the homecoming energy, but ultimately see Cincinnati pulling away there 35-13. Well, we are back.
Wait a minute.
What's going on?
Aren't you guys supposed to be out there?
Yes.
I know, guys. We felt bad. We're always having such a great time out at the tailgates. We felt guilty. We wanted to bring the tailgates to you guys.
Well,
so we're here in studio.
Well, we wanted to introduce you guys. This is Addison McBride. You've probably seen her out there on the live shots a couple times. Audie Martin as well.
Yes.
She snuck in there on the live shots and doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Guys, while we're talking game predictions, what are y'all's game predictions?
Okay, one thing about me, Alyssa, I'm not a big numbers girl. I don't care about the numbers, okay? It's about the heart.
Right,
And
right.
Oklahoma State has the heart. They're going to take the win tonight, and I'm going by touchdown. I think it's going to be, I'm going 7-14.
Okay,
Because,
okay.
All right, absolutely. Well, see, I unfortunately, after the season, I kind of feel a little bit upset. I think it might be Cincinnati. I think it might be 35-13. Unfortunately, I'm hoping it's a good game, though. I'm hoping we put up a good fight. Who's to say, though?
Great minds think alike. You guys had the same score prediction.
We
which,
did.
By the way, I want to remind everybody, these two gals rocked it out this morning in the homecoming parade coverage. You guys were the second half. You guys did a great job.
Oh, thank you, Andrew.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate that. Yeah, the tailgates, guys, they were crazy out there. More elaborate than some house plans I've seen before.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that just speaks to the loyal and true still showing up time and time again, even despite kind of a losing season here. But overall, from the desk here, it looks like we've got 1-3 in favor of Cincinnati. So we got one going for the Pokes here. So we'll
Loyal
look to
and
see. We will look to see what they do there. But that is all we have for the show right now, guys. It has been a jam-packed show, a homecoming show. We really thank everyone for joining us, all of our crew backstage just putting this together, and we will be back in 3 weeks versus Kansas State. We will see you then on the Big Game Pregame Show.
I'm Travis Taylor. I'm the general manager for the Hotel Indigo Tulsa Downtown. I have a real good understanding of the food scene in Tulsa, and I've loved to see the way it's evolved over the years, and I'm glad to be part of it.
My name's Kevin Kyle. I'm the executive chef. I started here, the idea was to do something local. Everything that we try to do has Oklahoma products.
Tulsa is a big oil boom when we were the oil capital in the early 1900s. How Route 66 put Tulsa on the map. And the menu around that was, well, what would an oil worker take out in their lunchbox? That's how Prospect kind of came from.
We never get crazy busy, so we can do a lot of different things with food. And we can do things like wine dinners and have local dinners. We have a private dining room that people can come.
I think being at the heart of the old Route 66 has kind of weighed into us getting a lot of different things brought in from different areas of the United States. When I taste something on our menu for the first time, the first thing I go is, that's Tulsa.